Hello everyone, we've got a lot of new babies that have hatched this week and I'll show you them shortly, but first I need to clean up because as you can see, this loft's getting pretty full. There's almost 90 birds in here now, would you believe, and a lot of pigeons make a lot of mess. So I'm going to clean this up and then we'll have a look at the young birds. Right, safety first. It's important to put a mask on before you start cleaning. Alright, well I didn't do a very thorough clean, I just did a quick tidy up. That's mostly because I want these young birds to develop a bit of a natural immunity, which means they do need a little bit of exposure to some mess. So that's why I've just done a little bit of a clean up, a little bit of a tidy up. But before we get these guys out to have a fly, let's go through and look at the babies. So here in the second section, I'm actually going to get most of these birds out of here pretty soon. And that's because we need to make more room for the flying birds. There's actually 20 flying birds in that first section. We need to move these breeding birds out of here so we can fit another 20 in here. And we might even get some flying birds in that section. We'll see how we go. So let's have a look at these babies. I'm really excited about this lighter one at the back. So this one at the front, that's a black Grizzle. It'll actually grow out to be the colour that a lot of people call pepperhead. But this one is actually the same colour as its father. And I'm really keen to see this one when it's molted. It's actually a Recessive Opal Grizzle. I think this one will be a bit lighter than its father, because the father I think is a check pattern, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a bar pattern. But I'm really excited to see what this one looks like when it's a bit older. These guys are almost ready to wean actually. You can calm down. This guy's on fake eggs. Because I want to move all the breeding birds out of this section, the ones that have laid eggs, I've just put the little fake plastic eggs in. Because I don't want them to be laying eggs again and again and again. And this guy, here's our pretty boy, and the nest mate is the black. Another one just about ready to wean is this Opal check. It's an identical carbon copy of its brother. A really nice Opal check. I'm really looking forward to flying these ones. This is one of my favourite old breeding hens. She's an 8-year-old hen, Recessive Opal colour, and she flew out to 550 kilometres twice in her racing career. So I think her young birds should be able to do about the same. This guy is actually a foster parent. He has some fresh babies. But the same as the last round, they're not his. These babies are from another one of my good racing pairs. Some of the pairs that I'd like to get a lot of young birds out of. So I'll put the eggs under here. And this guy and the barless hen will be raising. He's a good father, this guy. Down here, these guys have the pink on their beak because the parents have been into the pink mineral powder. They love it. So both of the babies are reds. I'm really hoping that one of these will be a red cockbird because that is exactly what I need for my yellow project. At the moment, I can't see any black flecking on either of them, which would indicate that they're young cockbirds. But there's two of them here, so there's every chance that one of them's a cockbird. Hopefully in a few more days, when they're a bit more grown out in the feather, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have a nice little young cockbird. Moving into the next section. This guy's just got eggs. Those eggs should hatch in a couple of days. The rest of the boxes have babies in them. So this guy, he does not like being interrupted. There is one. Like I said, he doesn't like being interrupted. But there is one little baby in there. And I put the ring on it this morning. You can probably see it's one of my gold ring $100 ring birds. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one grown up. Big Gus. He's got two babies. And this one at the top, I think is his very first brown baby. If you look at the beak, you can see it's a bit lighter than the other one. They look slightly different. So I'd say this one is going to be a blue, and that one will be a brown, which is really exciting. I've actually been trying for a long time to get a brown out of Gus, or any of my other brown carrying birds actually, and it looks like we've finally got the first one. Small birds that are about ready to wean are our reds. Parents are back on eggs. They're probably due to hatch pretty soon actually. But these guys, in another couple of days, will be ready to move into the flying section. That's why we need to make more room in that second section, because it's getting pretty crowded in the first section. And then the last baby in this section is this little long distance bird from the box on the floor. This one's a cranky little single nester. And his sibling from the previous round is actually flying really well. So I think this guy should do pretty well as well. And hopefully he has some success towards the end of next year when we get out of the long distance races. In another 10 or 11 months, this guy could be flying 1,000 kilometers. And then in the last section, there's not too many babies over here, but I know this is going to make at least one of you very happy. These are the babies from the lemon hen. So if any of these are young cockbirds, they will carry extreme dilute, and we can use them next year to produce some more lemons. And then the final babies are under here with the reduced cockbird. And I can already tell that this one is a cock and the other one is a hen. It's because the father is a homozygous reduced, which is a sex-linked gene. So he's passed that on to all of his children, but only the hens will express it. And you can see there's no colour in this one and plenty of colour in this one. So we know for sure that's a cock and that's a hen. And hopefully it's a nice little pink or red reduced as well, because that'll be really nice. And these guys are getting the Country Challenge gold rings. Everybody else, so these guys, these ones, they're all on eggs at the moment. It'll be another week or two before these ones hatch. Now it's about time for these young birds to go out to fly, but the team is really starting to take shape. There's 20 young birds in this first section. In the nest, in the other sections, there's about another 20 more, so that's 40 young birds. A friend of mine's breeding me a race team of 10 long distance birds, so that's 50. There's about another 15 eggs in the nest, so that gets up to 65. And I'm probably going to try and aim for about 80 flying birds. So one more round, maybe a few colour birds, and that'll be the loft full. But now, let's get these guys out to fly. They're actually starting to fly really well now. I'm really impressed watching them in the sky. So there's a few that just want to stay down on the landing board, which I'm quite happy with. I'd rather them sit here than up on the roof. But there are a few of them out there flying. Yesterday they had about their best fly I've ever seen. They were out for about half an hour. And they were really ranging, which was great to see. Hopefully they do the same today. It's a shame that my yard's so small, because the birds are way out over there. And they're hidden behind the roof line, unfortunately. But they're ranging really well. And these guys are just relaxing by the loft, which is fine. A lot of people have asked why I don't flag the birds or why I'm not tossing them at the moment. And that's because racing isn't until the last weekend in May next year. So that's 6 or even 7 months away at the moment. And there's really no need to be pushing the birds this far away from racing. I'll just let them mature, let them get used to flying here. And then when we're only a few months away from racing, that's when I'll really start pushing them. But it's way too early to be pushing the birds at the moment. So I'll keep the flying nice and relaxed for now. I'll let the birds tell me when they're ready to come back in. It's not time to be pushing them just yet. Oh, these two young reds. These two young reds have decided to go for their first lap around the house. Very nice to see. There we go, one of the reds has just finished her first lap and she's a bit puffed. But the rest of them are still flying. So I'm just going to let them fly, and then when they tell me they're ready to stop, I'll bring them back into the loft. They've been out for about 15 minutes now, and they've just came back to the loft. I think they're just touching base and they'll head out and range again. But if they decide to come down, that's when I'll start to feed them. It doesn't bother me how long they fly, even if it's just a few minutes. The only rule is once they finish flying, they have to come back into the loft. They can't sit out on the roof. Alright, it's starting to look like some of them want to come down. So I might get some food ready for them. Alright, they're starting to come in now. I don't keep them starving, so they're not going to race through the traps. They are still young, so they need to have plenty of food so they can develop nice, strong muscles and good quality feathers for their racing season next year. Alright, well, all 20 of them are in now. They're out for about 25 minutes flying all together, the ones that were flying. I hope you guys are enjoying seeing my race team grow up as much as I am. If you're enjoying it, here's a video that you might enjoy as well, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.